Well, there we are. That's called Spare Me. It's the new single from Peaceful Cacophony, an East Anglian duo. And one half of the duo, Denise Wise, joins me on the line now. Denise, hi.
Hello, Neil. Nice to
That's
be
a,
here.
yeah, lovely to speak to you as well. That sounds to me like a band name that's got some thought behind it. It's not just like Blue or Five and things like that. You've put some thought. Tell
Oh,
us where Peaceful Cacophony comes from.
well, I wanted to use my name, Wise, but there's so many different permutations of that, and all of them are taken online. So I had originally just come up with Peaceful Cacophony because it's like a contrast between how we really are, all of us. Sometimes we're peaceful, sometimes we're chaotic, which is what cacophony can often mean. But the official PR line is, I'll just read it to you. We like the band name Peaceful Cacophony because it's a contradiction in terms, a bit like our lives. And then I talk about even within one song, there can be a rocky loud noise, but there can also be peaceful or uplifting middle eight or a bridge. And also, if you think about nature, we find this cacophony with birds. They're all singing different tunes, but somehow or other, when you walk out and you listen to them, it sounds beautiful, doesn't it?
Yeah, indeed. All
So
right, okay, I'll get the hang of it now. All right.
yeah.
It's the two of you. It's yourself and David Donley, and David's a sort of jobbing musician from years gone by. How did the two of you meet? What's your background in music?
Yes, well, my parents played folk music when I was very, very young, and that was up in Scarborough. They started a folk club, and it's still going now, actually. And then my mother joined a religion where we were singing songs, every week, 2 or 3 times a week, singing religious songs. And that was all the way through. And then I just, ended up in music royalties, BMI, which is a big American music royalties company, working there just around the time of 9/11, funnily enough. So I met lots of musicians and saw how people got together and did songwriting. They used to come into our offices actually and do it there. And we met publishers and so on. So I got involved more in the pop and also the rock side of things by meeting a variety of musicians. So I've worked with people like Gary Granger, who's actually right back from Rod Stewart days. He was a lead guitarist for him and co-wrote some songs,
Right.
guitarist with him for about 5 years. And he and I used to write songs, and we recorded one, which is in my back catalogue. And then David, his career was more Sex Pistols and much more rock than mine.
Right.
And he was professional touring and in the professional studios with bands for 14 years. But how we actually met was not very rock and roll at all. It was in my friend's back garden during the lockdown in June. Her birthday is in June, and the only way she could have a birthday party was sitting us all out in the garden, you know. So we met and we just started talking music as you do, and then that was it. He was just saying, obviously, with the lockdown, he can't tour or perform at the moment. So would I like to record some of my back catalogue? But the first time that we worked together, it was apparent that we clicked, and we just wrote "Spare Me" was the first song that we wrote together. He sat down with the guitar and just did the riffs, and I came up with the lyrics and the melody, as I often do, but we do interchange, with other songs on the album. So it just does happen the other way around as well. And it's just been an amazing time, to be able to work over the whole of the summer in lockdown and just recording things remotely and swapping ideas
And
like
interesting
that.
though that you can swap like that, because often you people are, Elton
Yeah,
John, Bernie Taupin. If Elton John was to turn around and go, look, I've got an idea for a thing, Bernie Taupin and go,
yeah,
just stick to the tunes, Elton. But with you two, you
yes.
can literally flip that around, and that's interesting, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. So we both brought our own songs from maybe a few years ago into the party, but maybe David's is just music. So then I've added the lyrics and the melody to that, or he's come up with an idea like for one of the songs, that he wanted me to write something about this old couple that have been sweethearts since they were teenagers, and they're now in their late 80s and 90s. So I wrote Eternity for him, and he had the music in his mind. And so that's the sort of thing. It's just been loads of variety. They're not all rock songs, you know, clutch full of them are, and others are more pop or, you know, ballads even. So yeah,
it's an interesting mix, isn't it? It gives you something different to do when you. Well, I mean, I was going to say when you're playing the pubs and clubs. I'm assuming that as lockdown eases, you will eventually, the two of you, get out and play some gigs, will you?
I'd like to think so, and that could be in the autumn. But at the moment, I might have to just take a backing track with me, or go to places like art centres. I've been asked to perform there and just sing on my own, because David has got embroiled in Fade to Grey gig out in Belgium in the W Fest in 28th of August, that is. So he's working, Rusty Egan, you know, from Visage is calling him every day. He's got to organise the trip and be the musician and the guitarist, and then also manage the stage. And so I said to him, look, I'm going to take a hiatus from the band as such for the time being, because he has to practice every day, learn up all the songs. And I said, I'll work with another producer I know, just to get my own set up to speed, which will be going on an EP, and then the rest of the album, which is called Corona Somnia, will follow obviously after that. But I intend to release my tracks on a regular basis over the summer.
Wow. Okay. So you've got several projects on the go. It's quite interesting when musicians work like that, isn't it? Because I can imagine as well, you might get other musicians. Oh, I know this bloke, and you know he does this on keyboards or whatever, and different people start coming in and out of bands, and no one actually knows who's a member. I can see that coming up. So we can look out for
a member.
it's you. So we can look out for an EP from you, another EP from Peaceful Cacophony.
Yes, I'm going to call it Peaceful Cacophony, and maybe Corona Somnia Part 1 for the first tracks that I do of mine. And then when David blends back into the project, you know, it'll probably be called Corona Somnia 2. And because the reason we chose that name is because both of us have suffered with insomnia. And I think the heightened emotions and anxieties around money for performers, and almost everyone's had some kind of anxiety with the lockdown. And so we just felt that Corona Somnia was the way to go.
You coined a new phrase. The NHS will be diagnosing people with that from now on.
And there's a tagline to the rest of it, actually, which is because sleepless nights produce music delights.
Oh my goodness me. So you're copywriting as well. It's been great to hear from you. Lovely to find out a little bit more about you. Good luck with the single, good luck with the EPs. And there you are, some good news coming out of the lockdown and coronavirus. It's led to the creation of new music. Denise, lovely to chat to you. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Lovely. Bye, Neil.